Welcome everyone to this session of DCulp. Just to give you a brief about the event, DCulp is a design challenge focused on experiential learning rather than being just a competition. The aim is to solve real life problems. The challenge is open to all design aspirants and students, whether you have a background in design or not.
On the panel today, we have our challenge partner, Crimson Healthcare. Crimson Healthcare is a startup founded by Stanford School of Biodesign alumni. It's focused on innovating cutting edge solutions for various problems in the healthcare system with advanced engineering and technologies. They are on a mission to design, develop, and commercialize innovative and affordable medical devices to reduce the burden of disease and disability and improve quality of life of patients. Today, we are pleased to have Mr. Vijay Singh Thakur, who is a senior design engineer at Crimson Healthcare, and Mr. Neeraj Jasmatia, who is the co-founder of Crimson Healthcare. Please tell us a bit about yourself and also about Crimson Healthcare.
I am Neeraj. I am an industrial designer by training. I have gone through. I'm one of your seniors. I did my masters back in 2011. Completed my masters actually, and after that, I have been into number of industries, including consumer products industry. Majority of my career, although, have been into healthcare and medical devices. I have also gone through a program called Stanford India Biodesign, which is a very intensive medical innovation program, and in which the idea of this program is to expose fellows who are recruited once in a year. And it is very competitive program. So like out of 1,200, 1,300 people, they try to select 3 or 4 fellows, and they expose them to the entire ecosystem of medical device innovation. So now this program is known as School of International Biodesign. When we completed this program, it was conducted in partnership with Stanford University. So fellows actually used to go to the Stanford University to get exposed to this entire philosophy of biomedical innovation. You try to learn that and come back in India and then again implement that technique or the kind of philosophy that you have learned there. And historically, majority of fellows who get trained through this program, they end up having their own startup. Majority of them, but there's no such restriction or limitation. You can actually go in academia, you can go and then work in industry as well. Like I did, I worked for a company called Medtronic, which is a leading medical technology company. Again, it's a American medical device company. I worked for that company for about 3 years, and then I decided to start something of my own. And that's where me and my partner Pranav, we started this company called Crimson Healthcare. Our objective at Crimson is to develop, the medical technologies which are more meaningful, and they try to address the real unmet needs. So it's not like a technology innovation company. We try to identify problems which mean to us, which are actually real problems, and we have a very very specific kind of a need identification process that we have figured out for ourselves, and we try to inculcate that in our design process as well. And Vijay and other engineers and designers, they work with us, and we try to do this activity day in and day out. So I already talked about Crimson Healthcare, what we do. To currently, right now, our focus is more into ostomy care, which is again a very specific disease related to gastrointestinal ailment. So we are trying to address that problem with an innovative device which we have developed, during last 3 or 4 years. And I am happy to share that one of our products is going to be in the market in the next 3 or 4 months. We are evaluating that device, and it is under clinical evaluation. So yeah, so that is pretty much about us and about me in specific. Vijay, you can give your introduction if you haven't done so far. Over to you, Vijay.
Yeah, thank you, Neeraj. So I am Vijay, and I am also one of the alumni from IIIT Jabalpur, and I have completed my BTech and Masters from the IIIT. And after that, I have joined this Crimson to enhance my further knowledge regarding the medical sector. And currently, I am, as Neeraj told us, we are working on ostomy care domain. And yeah, so I have several experience regarding manufacturing and designing of the medical devices.
Neeraj and Vijay, you've been doing some amazing work for healthcare innovation at Crimson Healthcare. Can you please tell us more about the problem statement that you have in mind for our participants?
Yeah, basically, we want to keep this statement open because I have described about the one scenario of the OT room because it generates more waste of the material as well as other resources. So as I described the scenario, and we are looking for some sustainable solution regarding or eliminating the wastage from the OT rooms, because I have personally observed that in OT room there are a lot of wastage of packaging materials, sources, and even the workforce as well, because they I know that it is a like in the OT room there is a intense atmosphere because everybody is too busy taking care of the patient and indulge in their task, and that is understood. But if you take the scenario when they prepare for one procedure, it takes a lot of time. That's why they have some multiple equipments for the same thing. And they basically they look for the basically they optimize the task whatever they perform there. In regarding that, if we mm, take how they start the procedures, they actually of course they plan for that, how they will go for this particular procedure. So uh, basically in every procedure they use some equipments. Some are single use and some are for multiple use. So and each instrument they have to sterilize after the procedure. And so they use multiple equipments, and irrespective of that equipment has been used or untouched in the procedure, they need to send back that equipment for the sterilization again. So I don't think so it makes sense to sterilize mm, uh, the equipment which is not exposed into that environment. And further they because there are certain protocols which they follow, but I think there is an opportunity to optimize the protocols to save or save the material or reduce the wastage of the materials. If we take as example of sterilization, because sterilization is expensive thing because it's highly dependent on the material, mm, basically the equipment which are made of the of the material, because there are several materials. And then sterilization procedure uh, is dependent on the materials, because so for
And it is
example
time
there are,
consuming as well, just to add, Vijay.
yeah, yes, and it is that. So yeah, so there are a variety of methods like dry sterilization, steam sterilization, then radiation sterilization. So these all are not all, but they are limited to time. And if I talk about the current sterilization technique, which is ETO, uh, ethylene oxide technique, so it generates the radiation, or it is toxic for the human body. So currently, right now, more than 50% of the equipments are sterilized by this technique. So because and it is expensive, because to perform this sterilization technique, you have to have a completely sealed room to perform this task. So if you are sterilizing the equipment which is not used in that in the procedure, so what is the significant to sterilize the same equipment again, because it is not used, or maybe it is not have the contamination from the OT room. So again, since that sterilization is an expensive thing, so it consumes energy and time as well. And again, you have to have a variety of technique of sterilization to perform the sterilization on different kind of materials. So yeah, so our problem is not limited to just the technique of sterilization. This is one thing. The student who are taking this challenge, they can explore the more of from the OT room regarding the wastage, because there are a lot of thing which can be optimized from there. And so I have just given the one example how we can change, or we can add the sustainable solution to make our OT room more sustainable.
Yes, so this is kind of, I
Okay,
mean,
yeah,
you
over to
summed up
you.
really well, Vijay. I think this is a very nice summary. How can we make the current or future generation operation rooms more sustainable? Uh, cutting our wastages, cutting our expenses related to devices which are not used really. And it is very strange. Like, I know the patient's safety and security, and his security or her safety is more important for doctors or healthcare professionals than anything else. And that is the reason why they have a very stringent protocol. Anything that comes into OT will not go back again into the shelves. So that is the idea. But can we and the reason why they have multiple of same instruments, because in case if they require multiple devices or multiple instruments, you don't want that patient to be lying on that OT table while you are placing an order for the other additional instrument. So that is why you want to have a backup. But can we optimize it? Can we apply design thinking here? And before that, I mean, try to learn, what is the workflow and what kind of steps are taken before a patient is wheeled into the OT. And can we optimize it? Can we make that workflow more efficient? Can we reduce the wastage of the instrument? So the wastage of the instrument is one thing, but can we improve the overall efficiency so that more and more patients can be treated, more and more procedures can be taken place? If that can be done, I think that there's no hospital, at least in our country, which would be inefficient. And I think inefficiency is a big thing, big problem, both in the Western world as well as in our country. In our country, it is more important because we have a very less workforce, very less trained surgeons and physicians are there, and number of patients in that comparison, it is huge. We all know that it's a pretty, open problem in that sense. So yeah, it is a problem. I would say a very evident problem. It shouldn't be it is less of a medical device specific problem, and that is the reason why we kept it more generic in that way. So we don't want people to go back and try and learn about the jargons and medical technology related terminology. So they don't need to do that. It's a very open book sort of an example problem statement that we have found out for the participants. If you have more questions, please do let us know.
Yes, Neeraj, and thank you, Vijay. But we wanted to ask, like you were saying that it is not just about the waste, but it is also about the inefficiencies in the system. So what are the all different dimensions in which this wastage or inefficiencies are being produced in an operation theater? Like, one is the wastage of time, another is the wastage of material or where it is going to go next, and what are the other different dimensions in which there are problems which currently exist in operation theaters?
So, I mean, Asim, a very nice question. Actually, it is important. I mean, I would expect designers to explore more. There are a number of areas, there are a number of avenues which are still not tapped in the, especially in the OT care, because not many people get access to OT. So even people like us who are trained in this medical technology innovation, we have to go through a lot of paperwork before we can get access to an OT. And even in the current scenario, especially if this COVID thing, keep that thing in mind, forget about getting inside an OT. So I would say, for the participants and for the betterment of the participants, it will be more fair if they can do their primary research, just the literature research, I would say, because it is really, it is not practical to go out and discuss with the physician or doctors. In ideal scenario, I would assume designers to go out and talk to them, interview doctors, shadow them, and see how do they operate, how does their schedule look like, how do they plan their procedures and all those things. So inefficiencies lie everywhere. Like, I am giving healthcare example because we come from healthcare background. Inefficiencies lie everywhere, even in our day-to-day management of our life. For example, getting up late or staying up late night. These are all inefficiencies, or wasting. Whenever we turn on these days, especially in the northern part of India, too much of winters. So you put the geysers on. So you keep on the geysers turned on for a long period of time, and those are also energy wastage. I mean, there are energy wastages as well there, and then water wastage. So there are inefficiencies everywhere. Healthcare is a very specific problem because we come from a healthcare background, and that is the reason why we took this problem as a challenge. We want to throw this challenge to the designers or the upcoming designers, so that they can also look into it and identify the core areas or the pain points which are specific to the healthcare ecosystem in general. So wastage of instrument is one thing. The other is the time, of course. Time is very important. And then the way you operate the procedure, like the give and take between the number of healthcare assistants, not the surgeon, but there are a number of people, as Vijay said, there are too many people inside an OT. But all of them are not required. Maybe 1 or 2 persons would be taking majority of decisions, and they would be doing a lot of activities. Rest of the people are like, simply passing on the instruments, and majority of time goes into, picking up the instrument, identifying which instrument is the right one. And if you pick one instrument and give it to the surgeon, he would say, not this one, the other one. So those kind of things, so if you assess this problem, then you would find out number of loopholes, and then you can pick and choose which area you would like to keep your focus on. So sterilization is one thing that which I feel designers would be more than happy to take it up because it is technology related. But at the same time, it is that area where designer's intervention is not really required as such, because it's a technology related stuff. But the workflow wise, or the optimization of the procedures, or the way they take a decision, like which patients to come next, all those things, like that's where designers can play a role. And one more thing, like when you get inside an OT, it's a very big problem, very common problem, is the number of cables and the tubes and catheters. So that also adds to inefficiencies in the OT. There are a number of catheters, they are color coded, but it is hard to figure out. And I would leave it open to people, and they can, take up it according to their interest. Vijay, if you want to add anything, please do so.
Yes, sure. Actually, I would like to give you a bigger picture of this example. What will happen? See, as you know that population across the world is increasing. If suppose in OT people are having the more equipment than they needed, so and sterilization again takes time. So suppose it takes like 1 hour to get sterilized one equipment, and another is occupied by the other OT room. So so when there were multiple patient inside the OT room, then they will get shortage of the equipment, the other surgeons. So that will make a big impact on the health of other patients who are just waiting for their treatment, because because we can't what would say purchase or procure the equipments in large quantity just for to to get treated the people. At the end, you have to optimize the procedure what they are currently using it for the treatment. So if they utilize the same equipment or they just correct, not exactly correct, but they optimize their protocol, that would have been great for the other patient and or for actually all the patients. So I think that that would be great if they contribute in this manner or in this area. Yeah, over to you, Hers.
Um, Right. And one thing that you mentioned is that the management at the time of the operation, it becomes a very stressful kind of a situation during an operation. And then there are a lot of devices, then there are a lot of people, and a lot of combined complexity on what procedure should be followed next. So, what are some of the challenges that are faced by the caregivers in that operation theater, in that stressful situation? And who are the various actors that are involved in an operation theater? And how can we think about optimizing it? How can the participants think about optimizing all of that? Can you throw some light on that, Neeraj and Vincent?
Yeah, yeah, sure. See, there, see, in if we talk about the actors could be anything living or non-living things which are responsible to make thing happens. So for OT room there are multiple actors, like first this of course surgeon, because it starts with the surgeon who tells their procurement department which equipment they need for their procedure. And then again there is a department who collects the all equipment, and then they send it for sterilization. Then someone do the sterilization process, and they collect it from the sterilization department, and a person who takes those instruments from sterilization department to OT room, and there are technicians who sort the equipment according to the procedure. And again there is some more technician who provides the equipments to the doctors, and there are couple of assistants there too, which also require the same equipments to they use multiple grasper to hold the organs or other body part to keep in that place. So these are all the actors which involves in this all procedure. These are the like you can add some more actors like the environment, and it also depends the temperature, lights, and several more things. How and it's also includes the mental condition of the surgeon or the assistants. So of course these are some hidden actors which act very impactfully for any procedure, or for any problem to solve it. Yeah, over to her.
Yes, Vijay, that is true because designing for something like an operation theater and not taking into consideration about the work environment, which is like highly stressful. Everybody is in an urgency. They have not slept for 15 hours or so. They are, all of them are overworked. And so you have to take into consideration all of that while designing, and that is something which will be better if the participants keep that thing into mind, that this place is a highly dangerous and risky situation it can become
Yes,
if you don't
yes, that's
if you
true.
don't if you fail to see these invisible things that are happening inside the operation theater. What we
Yes,
wanted to know is that this being currently being the COVID scenario, it will be hard to conduct a primary research study, and uh, for our participants, can you please
yes.
guide our participants on how they can do more? They can find more about what happens in an operation theater, what are the current challenges, and everything. Some resources for them, or how they can conduct their own research into this thing. If you could,
Yes, exactly. So
yes.
I personally believe that design is all about verification and validation. See, whatever I said here, it it is true for me. That's why have said it. But it's time to now verify it. So how they will verify the participant? So I would like to guide them first. Just assume what could be the scenario of the OT room according to them. Okay, just note it down, whatever the scenario they can generate. It could be just their imagination, and just take the help of YouTube, because in YouTube you may find various procedure, mm, video of various procedure of, like, not from the India, even from the other countries as well, how they operate, and then they can select which area do they want to work, because I have mm, generalized it through OT, not stick to the procedure. So they can select, because again, when you do the contextual research, it's that area will play a significant role here. Like if you are solving problem for India or for some other country, so then select the like country, or like the uh, area area in terms of physical area, then go for the procedure. Because if you find, then every time they apply different protocol for different procedure, then select the procedure. Okay, I would like to solve or focus into this particular procedure. Then then again, write down what could be the other problems there, if they want to explore the other problems as well. And then they can again verify the problems, whether it is really happening or not, by because this is COVID scenario, so they have to use the internet more than, if they have access of any surgeon, maybe general surgeon, so it would be better if they have some surgeon in their local contact, or they gets, I think they can get some interviews from online. So I think that would be really helpful for them. Yeah, over to you, Asim.
Thank you, Vijay, for sharing that. Now that we are coming to the end of this session, are there any final word of advice that you would want to give to our participants?
Yeah, there is one advice. So basically, yeah, see, actually, every need should be market driven. So if you have some solution in your mind, maybe it is fantastic, it is out of the world, but it should bring some money for your organization or for you, for anything. Because at the end you have some money to run your business or to take other challenges as well. So before coming to any solution, just figure out the market for that particular solution. If there is a market, or you have some intuition, or if you have some idea or hypothesis behind your solution, okay, market will change like this, or in the future you will have the technology like which will make your solution more you it's sellable. So if you consider those uh, areas before solving your problem, then I think that could be really a what the solution for the problem. Actually, solution is not it is not just the solution for the problem, because one problem may have multiple solution for the same problem. Okay, so so yeah, so whatever you design it, you can have in a situation where you can sell it. Yeah, so I think that is my final word for the participants.
Yes, it will be definitely better if our participants can look at it and through a viability lens as well, that
Yeah,
take the viability into consideration, and looking at things from a business lens, it is never going to be bad for you. And
yeah.
so the problem statement, this is to our participants, the problem statement is quite open, that you have to
Yes.
find some problems
Yeah,
inside the or the inefficiencies. Yes,
yeah,
Vijay.
because sorry, I would like to add some more point, because to find a need statement is, I think, the first and basic task for the solution. And I think we kept this problem statement open so that they also uh, get to know how to explore the this need identification. So it will help them to to set up their whole design process. So I think to design your own need statement, uh, it will help them for their further research actually.
Yes, that is true. So, participants, this design statement, this problem statement is quite open. Go around, look around, and find some problems in the operation theater. See how you can solve them. So our healthcare systems becomes better, and we, as a whole, we have better health facilities for all of us. See, what's true for everybody is that all of us, one day or the other, we are always going to end up in the hospital. So it's a good thing
Yeah,
that you make it better and spend your efforts in that way. So thank you, Vijay, for your time. It was an amazing session. And we
yeah,
are
for
sure
me
that
as well.
thank you. We are sure some great solutions will come out of this thing.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to this. Thank you, Harsh and Asim.